Big companies don't just grow by selling more products. Sometimes they grow by buying other companies, and that's where mergers and acquisitions, or M&A, comes in. M&A is a trillion-dollar business, and investment banks make billions advising on these deals. But how do they actually work? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna break that down for you. And if this is your first time on my channel, then hey, my name is Cameron Galbraith, and I'm a finance professional based here in New York City. This video is part of a series on my channel called Street Simplified, where I break down the fundamentals of finance. So if you don't want to miss an upload, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And now let's get into the video. So at its core, M&A is when one company merges with or acquires another. A merger happens when two companies combine to form a new one, like when Exxon and Mobil merged in 1999 to create, you guessed it, ExxonMobil. An acquisition is when one company buys another outright. This can be friendly, like Disney buying Pixar, or hostile, like when Kraft took over Cadbury. And these deals aren't small. In 2021 alone, global M&A activity topped $5.9 trillion. Companies do M&A for a few key reasons. Growth. So instead of spending years expanding, they just buy an existing company. Market power. Fewer competitors means higher pricing power. Synergies, the magic word in M&A. This means combining companies will cut costs or increase revenue. For example, after a merger, they can fire redundant employees or negotiate better supplier deals. Also, diversification. If a company is struggling in one sector, it might acquire another to balance risk. And finally, eliminating competition. Sometimes big companies buy up rivals just to kill them off. Savage, I know. M&A is big business for investment banks, and their job is to advise companies on the deal, structure the transaction, and help with negotiations. For this, they charge a success fee, typically 1 to 3% of the deal value. So let's say company A buys company B for $10 billion. The investment bank advising on the deal can make $100 million to $300 million in fees just for structuring the deal and giving advice. And banks don't just work for buyers, they also defend companies from hostile takeovers, making even more money in the process. As I'm sure you all know, life in New York City can be expensive. So much so that earlier this year, I tried cutting back on my daily trips to the coffee shops to save money. Well, that was not fun at all. It turns out this is a luxury that I do not want to sacrifice, but fortunately I found out about Mint Mobile, who is actually the partner of today's video. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month, and you can get high-speed data and unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You may not know this, but I actually record all of my content from my phone, so it was really important for me to be able to keep my phone and my number, and fortunately, Mint Mobile lets you bring your existing device and phone number onto their service, which makes it super simple to switch. And take it from someone who is constantly watching YouTube podcasts and streaming sporting events while on the go, Mint Mobile's wireless service is lightning fast and actually works better in more areas than my last provider. So if you want to save some money without the sacrifice, go to trymintmobile.com/Galbraith or check out the link in the description to get a premium wireless plan starting at $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. And now for a limited time, you can actually get $60 off Mint Mobile's 12-month unlimited plan. This offer won't last long, so lock in a year of unlimited service today on the nation's largest 5G network for just $25 a month. Thanks again to Mint Mobile for partnering with me here, and now let's get back to the video. Every M&A deal follows a process, and here is how it works. Step 1 is target identification. The buyer identifies a company they want to acquire. This is often done with the help of investment banks who scout potential deals. Step 2 is valuation and due diligence. Before making an offer, the buyer needs to figure out just how much the target is worth. Banks use methods like comparable company analysis, which is comparing it to similar companies. They also use precedent transactions, so looking at past M&A deals in the industry. And third, you probably would have guessed it by now, but discounted cash flow, so projecting future profits and calculating today's value based off of those. And once the numbers check out, the buyer performs due diligence, digging deep into the financials, contracts, and the risks. And this is the part of the process that typically takes quite a while. Step 3 is the offer. The buyer makes an offer either in cash, stock, or a mix of the two. A cash deal is simple. Company A pays cash to acquire Company B. A stock deal, understandably, means Company A gives shares in exchange for ownership. But the most common is a mixed deal, which uses both cash and stock. And after the offer, if the seller agrees, they sign a definitive agreement and move to closing. And step 4 is regulatory approval. So before the deal is finalized, regulators check to make sure it won't create a monopoly. For example, when AT&T tried to buy T-Mobile in 2011, regulators blocked the deal, saying that it would hurt competition. But if the deal gets approved, then boom, the acquisition is complete. But not all acquisitions are friendly. Sometimes a company just doesn't want to be bought, but the buyer tries anyway. And that is what they call a hostile takeover. In this case, the buyer can go directly to shareholders and buy their stock, or replace the board of directors to force the sale by having a majority. The companies defend themselves in these situations by using strategies like poison pills, which is making the stock unattractive to the acquirer, or white knights, finding a friendlier company to buy them instead. One of the most famous hostile takeovers is when Elon Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion. Twitter initially resisted, but Musk went directly to shareholders and won. You may be wondering if M&A deals always work out, and that is definitely not true. In fact, over 50% of M&A deals fail to create value. Sometimes companies overpay and never recover their investment. Other times, culture clashes ruin the integration. And one of the worst M&A failures of all time was AOL buying Time Warner for $182 billion in 2000. It was supposed to create a media powerhouse, and instead it lost billions and fell apart. But when M&A works, it can create some of the biggest companies in the world. M&A really is one of the most powerful tools in business, helping companies expand, eliminate competitors, and grow fast. And for investment banks, it is a money printing machine. So next time you hear about a big merger, just remember, behind the scenes, investment bankers are making millions in fees. And if you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode of Wall Street Simplified. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.